Welcome to CPF Ontario, Canadian Parents for French, meet and greet, an interactive presentation with author Diya Lim. My name is Stephanie Philippi, and I'm the project manager at Canadian Parents for French, Ontario. I am here joining this evening with my colleague Mary Carrick-Kanayan in communication, who will be monitoring our chat and Q&A. We are so thrilled that you could join us this evening. This program is offered in partnership with the Ontario Library Association as part of the Forest of Reading program. And as we welcome you and participants from across the province and beyond, on this virtual platform, let us take a moment to acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all the First Nations, Inuit and Métis people who call this land home. Let us be mindful of our individual and collective responsibility toward reconciliation through focused actions in a spirit of truth, improved understanding, and respectful collaboration. So tonight, we look forward to welcoming our wonderful guest, award-winning author Diya Lim, who is nominated this year for her book, Éli Labaki et les gouttes de pluie, in the Forest of Reading program du Prix Peuplier category. I imagine that many of you are already very familiar with our guest author's books. So please use the chat and the Q&A to type your questions throughout this evening presentation. It is a webinar, so we cannot see you, but we will be able to unmute and let you have and ask your questions directly to our author, Diya Lim. So without further ado, I would like now to turn your attention and giving a warm welcome to Diya Lim. Diya, welcome. Bienvenue.
Merci. Thank you so much. I thank everyone who's attending this webinar, and it's very much my privilege to be here today. I thank the Forest of Reading for having selected the book Éli Labaki et les gouttes de pluie, and it in French Éli Labaki et les gouttes de pluie, and in English it means Éli Labaki and the raindrops. So I'll be presenting around this book. I'm thinking the kids have looked at it inside, probably at school, and it is a it has two sort of languages, not completely. It's actually in French, most of the text, but you can see there's some Arabic here, and the way that the text itself is written. Et les gouttes de pluie is like Arabic. My publisher and myself, we had to get someone who's a professional calligraphist to do this kind of writing. Her name is Hala Ali from Tunisia. She lives in New Brunswick. So the publisher of this book, Bouton d'Or Acadie, is a publisher in New Brunswick. I live in Mississauga in Ontario, and this is a team effort between myself, Diya Lim. I wrote the book, I invented the story, and the illustrator as well, who is in Quebec. His name is Jean-Luc Trudel. So many people work to create books. So I thank very much Forest of Reading for nominating my book in the category of Prix Peuplier. So inside the book, you will find that there is a glossary at the end to explain some of the words that I have put in Arabic, like words like pita, tabule, kefta, which are words pertaining to food in this book. But as you can see, everything is written in French. So, merci les amis de lire ce livre à l'école. Aujourd'hui, je ne vais pas vraiment raconter toute l'histoire, mais je vais vous dire quelles sont, à propos de moi et à propos de mes idées pour écrire ce livre. Nous allons voir un petit peu sur le Canada, sur le Liban, parce que Éli Labaki is the main character. Éli Labaki est le personnage principal et il est né au Liban. C'est un immigrant qui est arrivé au Canada avec son papa. So in this book, the main character is Éli Labaki, the little boy, and he comes to Canada from Lebanon with his dad. So they're newcomers in the country, and it's about how they're going to adapt to Canada and how there are sometimes difficulties at start, but how this is a book for children, and it is a book to give hope to newcomers and to help newcomers adapt to this country and also to help us. I have been here in Canada for 25 years. Je suis ici comme immigrante depuis 25 ans, and I too welcome newcomers because I'm no longer a newcomer. Donc, this is the book that I'm going to present to you today. So let's start with the presentation itself. So I just told you my name is Diya Lim and I write children's books. I've written 22 books. The newest book is this one, Pas de chocolat pour Pâques, and it's a picture book. I've written different sorts of books here. I've got picture books and I've got chapter books. Éli Labaki is a picture book, just like Pas de chocolat pour Pâques. So if you allow me to show you the difference, this picture book, it has une couverture souple. So the cover is flexible, is paperback. And this one, which is really new, I got this one last week for Easter. So this one is a hardcover. So c'est une couverture rigide. Okay, so hardcover. The inside is filled with nice pictures. So with picture books, you have a lot of pictures and less drawing, less words, sorry, less words and more pictures. Same here with Éli Labaki, more pictures and less words. If I show you this one is Maddie, the Halloween Mystery, and that's a chapter book. I have it in French and English. Suspense et Halloween, and Maddie, the Halloween Mystery. This is a series. It has 5 books. Maddie is the little dog, and inside you can see that it's written in big letters. There's a lot of space. So, and it's a chapter book. So you have 10 chapters to read. So that's the difference between chapter books and picture books. And if you're in a French immersion school and you want to know how the book has been translated, then you can get both books at your public library or school library and compare the inside. So that's a fun thing to do when you're learning French. So let's get back to my presentation. So I've told you about some of my books, and we continue with my presentation of who I am. I've been in Ontario, Canada since the year 2000. That's 25 years this year that I came to Canada as an immigrant. I was already a wife and a mother. So quite a long time. I live in Mississauga, which is close to Toronto. And that's where I write books from home. So I've been writing books since 2011. So this is Ontario, and there I live here in Mississauga, right here. I was not born in Canada. Je ne suis pas née au Canada. Je suis née à l'île Maurice. I was born in Mauritius. Now, you probably don't know c'est quoi l'île Maurice. What is Mauritius? Where is it? I've put a flag here. This is the flag of the country called Mauritius, and it's located in the Indian Ocean. I've placed a cross here because on the world map, Mauritius is a small, very tiny island. Um, about 1.5 million people live on that island. Donc, pour aller à l'île Maurice, ici c'est le Canada, tu dois prendre l'avion, traverser l'océan Atlantique et aller en Europe. So you have to take a plane and cross the Atlantic Ocean and go to Europe, and from there get another plane, cross the Mediterranean Sea, and fly over Africa and go all the way to the Indian Ocean, and that's where you will find Mauritius. And Mauritius is a country where you have the capital city, which is Port Louis. You have mountains, you have nice beaches because it's an island, and around it is the Indian Ocean. We have nice trees, such as this one, it's all red. And we have different families. This is my family. I'm showing you an example. Myself and my husband, we were born in Mauritius. We speak the language of Creole. That's our native language, the first language. And we learned French and English at school. Myself, I also know a little bit of Hindi. My husband, my ancestors from India, and my grandparents came to Mauritius. My parents were born in Mauritius, and then I was born in Mauritius. And my husband here, his grandparents came from China, and his parents and himself, they were born in Mauritius as well. Our children were born and raised here in Canada, and they went to school in Mississauga, and they speak English and French at home with us. And this is what we eat in Mauritius, like island food, a lot of fish, fried stuff. We like to eat Indian sort of food like biryani and dumplings, like Chinese food. And this is a dessert that I cooked myself. It's made with banana, and that's a typical dessert from Mauritius, where there's a lot of bananas and pineapples and so on, because it's a tropical island. Now, I would like to invite you to participate and answer my question here. So, qui dans ce groupe sont nés dans un pays autre que le Canada? So if you're born in another country, not in Canada, you could share. I'll at least have 2 or 3 people answer. What is your country of origin? What languages you speak? And maybe tell me one dish from your country. So in the chat, Stephanie says she's from France, and she speaks French and Italian, and she loves crêpes. Thank you, Stephanie. And Mary says she's from Armenia. She speaks Armenian, and she likes dolma. Okay. Anybody else want to participate? You can let us know. Otherwise, I will just continue. Parents are welcome to participate as well. Okay. Donc, je continue. I continue now with the book itself, Éli Labaki et les gouttes de pluie. So, as a writer, I have ideas, right? Everything starts with an idea. So people are going to say, oh, why did she write this book about Lebanese people when she's not even from Lebanon and she doesn't know how to speak Arabic, par exemple? Alors, je vais vous expliquer des raisons pourquoi j'ai écrit ce livre. D'abord, moi-même, j'ai émigré au Canada. So, when you look at the book, inside the book, you will see that at some point, Éli Labaki came to Canada and he is here. I've got this going, c'est la veilleuse. So it's the light next to his bed and it has a world map there. So I was interested in having something about the world in the illustrations. So I had that there and the illustrator put it in. And at the start, you see that Éli, he wants probably to return to his country, or maybe he wants to stay in Canada. He doesn't know. And he's asking his dad what they are going to do. And one night he finds that his dad is having difficulty sleeping and he's actually having he's crying. The dad has difficulty here in Canada at the start of the book. So they are asking themselves if this is the right place to be, if they should return to their country. So this experience of the dad is my own experience when I came to Canada 25 years ago. Okay. So I got the idea from myself years ago, like to write this book about Éli Labaki. So, so to continue with what I'm sharing with you here is that the first idea came when I thought about my adaptation as an immigrant in Canada. And my second reason for writing this book are my friends, Vanina and Gada, who I met, and we've shared so much together. We are friends. I've learned about the Lebanese culture through them, about the Lebanese food and some words that you will find in my books. So thanks to this friendship, I was able to write about Éli Labaki. So Éli Labaki is the main character, and he is not born in Mauritius. He's born in Lebanon. So Éli Labaki now lives in Canada. So to go to Lebanon, how do we get there? So this is Canada, and you will have to take a plane, cross the Atlantic Ocean, go to Europe, and from Europe, you will take another plane and go to Lebanon here. So Lebanon has the seashore, like the beaches, and this is the Mediterranean Sea. So what do we find in Lebanon is a capital city called Beirut. You have mountains. We have the sea, the Mediterranean Sea. We have a different kind of tree, which is the cedar, and that tree is also found on the Lebanese flag, as you can see here on the right side. Donc, tu peux voir que le cèdre du Liban en français, cedar, Lebanese cedar. And in French, flag is drapeau. Now, if you have different flags, like more than one flag, then you will have to put an X to it because then it becomes a plural. Drapeau, as you see on the screen, is singular because there's only one. This is an example of a Lebanese family. It's very different from my family, for example, from Mauritius. What they eat is different from what I eat in my country. Lebanese people, they do the shawarma, the tabbouleh, the manouche, the wraps. I'm sure some of you must know, probably know about these plates, these dishes. And in the book, you are going to find that I've left some of the names, like the father is cooking manouche, which the Lebanese eat for breakfast. Tu peux voir que sur le livre, dans le livre, il y a des mots qui sont en arabe. Also, pita, tabouleh, kefta, shawarma. Um, Nous avons aussi quelque chose qui s'appelle, bon, enfin, nous avons plusieurs mots, pas juste les mots de la cuisine. Alors, j'ai parlé des grands-parents en différentes langues. Alors, par exemple, à la page 24 du livre, tu trouveras Teta et Jeddo. Alors, Teta, c'est la grand-maman, la grand-mère, et Jeddo, c'est le grand-papa. So, je vais te lire un petit extrait. Depuis la nuit où j'ai eu peur, le téléphone sonne à toute heure. Des fois, c'est Teta et Jeddo, mes grands-parents. Ils nous donnent des nouvelles de Beyrouth, où ils habitent dans un appartement. Et moi, je leur raconte tout ce qui se passe ici. So that what I'm going to translate this part in English. So from the night when I was scared, the phone rings all the time. Sometimes it's Teta and Jedo, my grandparents, and they give us news from Beirut, where they live in an apartment. And I love to tell them everything about what's happening here. Donc, you see that Eli, he's left his country, but his heart is still in Lebanon. He's attached to the people from Lebanon, such as his grandparents. So when newcomers come to a country, it's difficult to they miss what they knew before. It's sometimes difficult to get used to this new country. So in this texte, Teta et Jedo, c'est les grands-parents de Éli Labaki. Myself, for my grandparents, it will be Daddy and Dada. And for my husband, it would be Popo and Kung Kung. So I would like to know who wants to share about how they call their grandparents. Do you have any specific words in your language? So, Charles Zhu a dit que son père est de la Chine. D'accord. Il parle français, mandarin, anglais et un des plats de la Chine est des wontons.
Ah,
Merci, merci.
je voulais,
Alors,
je voulais dire que je ne m'appelle pas Charles, c'est Alisha. Désolée, c'est mon père, c'est le nom de mon père sur l'ordinateur. C'est
d'accord,
ça.
d'accord. OK.
Alors,
Stéphanie a dit, oui, Alicia. Alicia, c'est toi, OK.
euh,
Mary a dit pape pour grand-papa et tata pour grand-maman. OK. Merci beaucoup. OK, on va
pour
fermer.
moi,
Il y a, il y
euh,
a-
pour
Oui?
moi, pour moi, j'appelle j'appelle mon grand-père Yéyé et à ma grand-mère Naina.
OK. Merci. Qui d'autre? Personne. OK. On continue alors. Euh, Maintenant, dans le livre, toujours à la page 24, j'ai parlé de la ferme d'Olivier. Par exemple, Olivier, ça veut dire olive tree. Donc, Teta et Djedo nous appellent de leur ferme d'oliviers dans la campagne libanaise. So, the grandparents, Teta and Djedo, they call Éli Labaki sometimes from their apartment in Beirut, but sometimes from their olive tree farm in the Lebanese countryside or in the village, where they have, like, you can see on the right side here on the screen, this is a type of olive tree farm. So all these trees produce olives. En français, ferme d'olivier. So that's olive tree farm. So this is a photo from a friend, and she sent these photos of what they do with the olive trees. So they cultivate the olive tree and they harvest olives. The harvest of olives in French is récolte d'olives. So they get the olives to fall on these big cloth that they put on the soil, and then they let the olives fall there, and then they will put the olives in baskets, and they separate the olives, the fruit, from the leaves, and then they will make olive oil. They can also produce savon d'olive, which is olive oil soap. Savon means soap. So you use the soap to wash clothes. So this is a nice fruit, I would say, because I love to eat olive oil, and especially when it comes from a Mediterranean country, such as Lebanon. Now, look at this question, and if you would like to share your thoughts. Au Canada, on ne produit pas d'huile d'olive. In Canada, we do not produce olive oil because of the climate, which is different. On fabrique un autre aliment qui coule. So we manufacture another liquid, something that is very fluid, and it comes from a tree. So on fabrique un autre aliment qui coule et qui nous provient d'un arbre. Quel est cet aliment? So if you want to tell me, do you have an idea what we produce in Canada that's from a tree? Oui, en plus, c'est la saison des oliviers, c'est vrai. Oui, Catherine a répondu maple syrup. Très bien, Catherine. C'est la bonne réponse. So, maple syrup is what we produce here in Canada. Tu vois, à gauche, nous avons le Canada. À droite, c'est le Liban. So, left is Canada, and in Canada, we have the maple tree. In French, we call the maple tree érable. And you can also see that on our flag, we have the maple leaf, donc la feuille d'érable. And from l'érable, we produce maple syrup, which is le sirop d'érable en français. But in Lebanon, we have the olivier, the olive tree, and from it we get the olive oil. So that's the difference between the two countries, and mainly it would be because of their geographical location and their climate. So different climate, different types of trees. In the book, there are several cultural elements pertaining to Lebanon. So when I write words, I write words in some words in Lebanese in the book. You have here drapeau, as I was saying, the flags. We have 3 flags. So at the end of drapeau, I put an X because it's a plural. Okay, so we have 3 different flags. I've told you about Lebanon. I've shown you some things about Canada, and I've shown you some things about my country, Mauritius. Savon. Savon, if you remember, it is the soap. Okay, so the soap, and this is actually what it looks like in reality. It's a soap from Lebanon, and it's made with the olive oil, and I can use it to wash clothes. It's not a soap that I would use to clean my face. No, it's for clothing, so something for the household. A very nice product. Next, in the book, there's a little teddy bear, donc nounours en français, but maybe somebody knows the word, another word, a synonym for nounours en français. Est-ce que tu sais c'est quoi le synonyme de nounours, si quelqu'un peut me dire dans le chat? Dans le livre, c'est écrit Dabdoub. Dabdoub is how Éli Labaki calls his nounours, his teddy bear. But in French, it's nounours, or another word would be ourson. Yes, that's a nice word. Ours en peluche also. Yes, ourson, ours en peluche, or just peluche, or nounours. Merci. Merci à Alicia et à Stéphanie pour les réponses. Alors, comme je disais, j'ai mis des mots en arabe, mais regarde l'illustrateur Jean-Luc Trudel, il a aussi sa façon d'insérer dans le livre des éléments culturels. Il le fait par le dessin. Alors, tu peux voir qu'il y a un miroir, il y a des décorations de style phénicien et il y a aussi une théière ici. So there's a mirror, there's decorations, there's a teapot with elements of Lebanese culture, which has been inserted in the book, not by words, but by art. So it's the illustrator that's done this. So this is an example of a mirror with art, with the Lebanese culture. And this is an étui. So if I show you, in reality, I have this. Ça, c'est un étui. It's a case. And inside it is this mirror. Étui, ça peut aussi être pour les lunettes. Les lunettes, par exemple. Ça, c'est a case for glasses. So, étui à lunettes. Okay? Étui à lunettes. Étui is what we hold. So, what we put inside can vary. So I was showing you this, and if you look, you will see that there's La Phénicien. It's Phoenician art. And these three men here are Phoenicians. Phoenicians were the ancestors of Lebanese people. So les Phéniciens étaient les ancêtres des Libanais. My ancestors were from India. So this is the difference here. My friends, Vanina and Gada, their ancestors were Phoenicians. This is what Lebanese people drink from when they drink their coffee. So if you have 10 like this, you could get a large size at Tim Hortons for coffee. But in the Lebanese culture, this is a small coffee cup. I find this very interesting. Other things that I found interesting is the tarbouche. Tarbouche is a hat, and they wear that in Lebanon. It's a cultural thing. Something else which I find very interesting is the backgammon game, and it contains little pawns and the dice. Okay, and this is the inside of the backgammon game. I don't know if anybody knows how to play this game, but this is very popular in Lebanon. So, let me see. You can share your comments. I've shown you le chapeau, le jeu. Alors, ça, c'est le jeu du backgammon. So, the die is the dé, le dé en français. The pawns here, les pions en français. Maintenant, on regarde Éli Labaki. Éli Labaki is a newcomer. Éli Labaki est un nouvel arrivant. De quoi a-t-il besoin d'après toi? So here I'm asking you the question. Think about a newcomer to Canada. What would he need? Especially Éli Labaki, if a little boy of 7 years old, 8 years old, just came to Canada, what do you think he would need? Any idea? Maybe Alicia? Stéphanie? Oui, Alicia? Apprendre. Yeah, he has to, a newcomer would like to learn English. Merci, Alicia. That's a good, very good response, a very good answer. Anyone else want to share? Stéphanie, oui, une maison. So Stéphanie is saying that a newcomer like Éli Labaki would need to have a house. Where would they live otherwise? So I'll show you a few of my answers. So Éli Labaki est un nouvel arrivant qui a besoin de plusieurs choses. Une maison. Catherine says aller à l'école. Bravo Catherine, thank you. Donc, these are a few examples. Il a besoin d'une maison. Il a besoin d'amour, so he needs love. So in the book, Éli Labaki gets to talk to his grandparents. He's attached to them. Il a aussi son papa. He has his father, right, at home, and he's attached to his father. So he gets to be loved by his family members. He also needs to get some kind of, he has to play, se divertir. Il a besoin de loisirs, de jouer. He needs to play with kids, other kids in where he lives or at school. He needs to eat, okay? Everybody needs food. He needs probably nice clothes, warm clothes for winter in Canada. And he needs to go to school. And when he's at school, he probably needs help with learning English, as Alicia was pointing out. He probably needs to learn French too, if he goes to a French immersion school. So he needs your help. At school, other kids can help him with his homework. And he needs to be listened to. I think it's a very important point, is that newcomers have a story to tell. Each person's life is different, and when you change country, you change a lot of things in your life. So probably Éli Labaki, as a newcomer, let's say he comes to your classroom, you could probably listen to him, listen to what he tells you about his country or his trip on the airplane to Canada, or whatever's going on in his life. As he's discovering Canada, he's probably discovering hockey or discovering how cold it can be in Canada. So listening to a friend especially a newcomer, is a very good thing to do. It's a good skill. And it's part of becoming friends with that person. So Éli Labaki needs your friendship. So amitié en français, ça veut dire friendship en anglais. So voilà, ça c'est ce dont a besoin Éli Labaki. comme nouvel arrivant dans ta classe, par exemple. Donc, si j'étais dans ta classe, if I were in your class, I would probably give you an activity, a drawing activity, which you can see here on the screen. I would ask you, what would you do with Éli Labaki if he came to your class? He just came to Canada. What would you propose to him? Would you propose something like playing with him or reading with him? And I would invite you to draw that. So I've been to many classes and kids have been drawing with me about this activity. And if you go to my website, you can see a few pictures of drawings of kids, and you have an idea, and you can draw too at school or at your home. So I've put some of the drawings from my website. You can find it there. diyalim.com, diyalim.com. Now I'm open to receiving any questions. Now I can answer your questions. Alicia says she would jouer avec Éli et être amie avec lui. Yes, merci beaucoup Alicia pour cette réponse magnifique. So now my presentation has come to an end, the PowerPoint presentation, and I'm happy to listen to your questions. It can be about this book, about another book, or about reading in general or writing. You can use the microphone too.
Thank you, Diya. Thank you. This is just absolutely wonderful. And thank you for making us travel with you along. I do have a question if, as everyone is thinking, and thank you again for your participation this evening, of maybe a comment or questions. You can certainly open your mic, raise your hand, and we'll make sure that everyone can engage and speak directly. But my question is about the relation of in terms of your process as an author with your illustrator. How did that come about? Je peux la poser en français aussi. Comment est-ce que la collaboration avec votre illustrateur, parce que c'est un homme, si je comprends bien, en fait, est arrivée?
OK. Donc, pour tous mes livres, c'est la même chose. Tous les livres que j'ai écrits, 22 livres, c'est moi, j'envoie mon manuscrit à l'éditeur et l'éditeur choisit l'illustrateur. Et c'est toujours l'éditeur est entre l'illustrateur et l'auteur. Donc, tout ce que je dois dire à l'illustrateur, je le dis à l'éditeur. Et puis, c'est l'éditeur qui le dit à l'illustrateur. So, what happens is that the publisher is between me and the artist or the illustrator. In that case, Jean-Luc Trudel. So actually, this book, Éli Labaki, was published in 2023, October, and I just met Jean-Luc Trudel last month in February for the first time. So we work at distance. So I'm in Ontario, he's in Quebec, and the publisher is in New Brunswick. So everything is done like this. I send my manuscript to the publisher, and then the publisher selects the illustrator. So a publisher has multiple illustrators to work with. So it's up to the publisher and not me to choose the illustrator. So we work through the publisher, and they show me first these sketches with pencils, and if I have any idea or comments. I'm not a professional illustrator, so I tend to comment very little. But then afterwards, if there's something that's bothering me, for example, here there was another illustration. So I thought maybe it would be too much. So that's something I asked to remove an illustration from here, from this page. And that's about it. I know that my research helps the illustrator because they ask for cultural things. The Jean-Luc Trudel doesn't really know much about the culture of Lebanon, so I provide answers to his questions as well. So at the end of the story, there is, for example, something very cultural, which is the dabke. This is called the dabke, and it's a Mediterranean. It's Lebanese, Egyptian, and Greek as well. They do this when there's those men. They play instruments like tambour, the drums, and it's called the dabke. So this is something they were looking for something cultural to put at the end of the book. So I proposed this for the illustration. It is not in the words, but it is in the illustration. So that's the kind of collaboration we have.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Okay, somebody
Commentaire Alicia.
here.
It's Alicia.
Je veux être auteur. Comme vous dans l'avenir. Oh, wonderful. So Alicia's saying that she would like to be an author one day dans l'avenir means in the future. So my question is, Alicia, would you like to be, est-ce que tu aimerais devenir quelqu'un qui écrit en français ou en anglais ou dans les deux langues? So that's a good thing. As you're typing and replying to my comment, I would suggest that for children who would like to write in future, that they read as many books as possible because they have when you read, your mind opens in such a way that you don't even realize it, but you have so much knowledge and you keep it at the back of your mind. And you never know when this particular point or that particular point will come out in a book. Like that's what happens with me because I read a lot, because I observe a lot around me. Observation is another key thing when you want to write books. So, Alicia, you want to write in both English and French, and I do wish you lots of success and to continue to read books, lots of books. C'est bruyant ici maintenant. Okay, so there's a lot of noise at your place. I get that. So,
C'est
thank
pour
you.
ça qu'elle ne pouvait pas te poser la question directement, Dia. Oui, c'est parce qu'elle n'a pas
Okay.
voulu ouvrir son micro.
So, one more thing about writing. If you would like to start writing now, like write small little texts, write about things that you know. Because if you know about something, let's say you love dogs, you have a dog at home and you love the dog, you could write about your dog because you know a lot of things about dogs. And it's easier to write about what we know. And if you don't know something, like let's say, I don't know, I'm telling you to write about boats and you know nothing about boats, then you will have to do what we call research. Okay, so two things that authors do is to write about what they know and what they don't know. So research is the second part. So, okay, Alicia, tu peux t'exercer dès maintenant. Keep a little book where you will write a little carnet, a little diary or journal where you write your daily things with your dogs or your friend, or if you like ice cream, write about ice cream. Ok. Ok, merci pour vos conseils. Bienvenue, Alicia.
Donc, laissez libre à l'imagination, en fait, et il n'y a aucune limite en ce qui concerne donc les inspirations, vos inspirations pour vos œuvres, en fait.
Oui, j'ai écrit plusieurs choses, comme il y a des livres qui sont plus terre à terre, comme les livres d'Amandine où je parle d'une petite fille qui aime cuisiner et dans la classe, un chef à l'école l'école, sortie de classe. Ça, c'est vraiment, ça se passe dans la classe, mais il y a aussi des livres où tu dois faire travailler ton imagination, comme ce livre-là, Pas de chocolat pour Pâques. C'est vraiment, ça se passe dans un monde souterrain. So it's under the earth where rabbits, little rabbits, it's actually the Easter bunny. I was wondering, like, let's write something about Easter bunny, and you can see that they, it's not just the Easter bunny, but a whole bunch of little bunnies that prepare chocolate for Easter. So this is a magical world. So this one is not everyday, our day-to-day life. This one is more imaginative, like trying to create something from nothing that we know. And we can't research it. It's pure creativity, this one. So this is another type of work that I do as well.
How whimsical. Très alléchant, chère Diya.
Merci. Merci.
Est-ce qu'il y a d'autres questions, mes chers amis? En tout cas, merci énormément. Félicitations à nouveau pour votre nomination au Prix Peuplier, hein, pour
Oui,
donc cette année avec.
j'aimerais
Oui,
dire aussi que ce livre-là, il a gagné en février le prix Champlain au Salon du livre de l'Outaouais en février dernier.
bravo.
Il a reçu ce prix-là. Bravo à Jean-Luc Trudel qui a magnifiquement illustré et à Bouton d'Or Acadie, ma maison d'édition, my publisher and my illustrator, because it's a teamwork. I cannot take all the credit for me. Although I invent the stories, the finished product takes a lot of effort from other people, not just me. So this book just was awarded the Prix Champlain in Gatineau, Quebec, last month.
Donc, un gros travail d'équipe aussi, une idée qui débute, qui est inspirée, donc, comme vous nous l'avez expliqué, euh, par également vos amitiés fortes, n'est-ce pas, avec vos amis, et le besoin, donc, et l'envie de vraiment vouloir partager et d'élargir les horizons. Encore une fois, merci énormément, Diya, pour ce partage, hein, et puis pour nous avoir fait voyager ensemble avec vous. Est-ce que vous voulez avoir le mot de la fin?
Mais je remercie encore une fois OLA et Forest of Reading et Canadian Parents for French Ontario pour m'avoir donné cette plateforme pour parler de mon livre à plusieurs familles. Je vous encourage, les enfants, à continuer à lire en français comme en anglais, surtout si vous êtes à l'école de French Immersion. Alors, passez une belle, belle soirée et je vous remercie de tout cœur.
Bonsoir à toutes et toutes. Pour plus d'informations, consultez donc notre site web on.cpf.ca. Madame Diya Lim également, son site web. Nous vous enverrons un enregistrement de cette session et également une petite évaluation. Merci encore une fois à l'Ontario Library Association. Et bonne chance donc au printemps avec The Forest of Reading, la forêt de la lecture. Bonne continuation et bonsoir.
Merci.
Bonsoir à tous et toutes.